Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the complex and, let's be real, super frustrating alphabet soup of crypto regulations that are actively changing exactly how you interact with your digital money. If you've felt a massive shift in the crypto landscape recently, you are absolutely not alone. We're going to make sense of all of it today. You know the saying, not your keys, not your coins. If you've been around the crypto space for more than a minute, you know this was the ultimate battle cry. It's the phrase that pretty much launched the entire crypto movement, promising this bold new era of absolute financial freedom and pure pseudonymity. It was just meant to be you, your private keys, and a decentralized network. But as our source material vividly points out, that era of operating entirely in the shadows, it's ending. It's rapidly being replaced by a much more rigid, institutional reality, where you go to move your own assets and bam, you hit a wall. Now, your passport, a fresh selfie video, and a recent utility bill are suddenly required just to move your own money out of an exchange. So you might be asking yourself, why on earth does a multi-billion-dollar platform need your passport just so you can move $100 worth of Ethereum? It is easily the most frustrating question in crypto today. And to answer it, we really have to pull back the curtain on the massive, unseen global compliance machinery operating right behind the scenes of your favorite trading platforms. Here's our roadmap for This Explainer. 1. The end of anonymous crypto. 2. How crypto got regulated. 3. Inside the exchange black box. 4. DeFi and privacy gray areas. And 5. Staying compliant. All right, Section 1. The end of anonymous crypto. Decoding the alphabet soup. Let's get into it. The absolutely crucial thing to understand here is that these rules aren't actually new at all. AML, or anti-money laundering, was born way back from the 1970 Bank Secrecy Act to stop cartels from hiding physical cash. The government basically required banks to report any movement over $10,000. Fast forward to today, governments watched billions vanish in crypto hacks and illicit funding, and their answer wasn't to invent new laws, but simply to force the cutting-edge crypto world to adopt these exact same old-school banking rules. So think of AML and KYC as a parent-child relationship. KYC, Know Your Customer, is simply the frontline tool that exchanges use to enforce AML. Because governments have legally classified exchanges as money transmitters, they really have no choice. They literally have to collect your passport and proof of address before they can legally grant your full transaction limits. And when you compare traditional money to crypto, you can totally see why global regulators panicked. Think about it. Old school money is bulky, it's slow, and it's easily reversible. But crypto? You can move $1 million across the globe in 10 minutes. It's totally irreversible and pseudonymous. Crypto's incredible speed and borderless nature really forced regulators' hands. To let crypto connect to traditional fiat bank accounts, they demanded strict monitoring, effectively forcing you to trade your on-chain privacy for banking access. Moving right along to Section 2, How Crypto Got Regulated, Tracing the Rules. Looking at the history really highlights the relentless march of regulation. You know, it all started back in 2013 when the FBI seized the Silk Road darknet market. That bust taught governments a profound lesson. Bitcoin isn't untraceable ghost money, it's a permanent public ledger. From there, the dominoes just fell. We saw the BIT license in 2015, the massive global FATF travel rule in 2019, and now all the way to 2024's MiCA law in the EU, which acts as a global template forcing exchanges to track sender and recipient data for transactions over a mere 1,000 euros. To put things in perspective, just look at this number, $4.3 billion. That was the staggering fine handed down to Binance for ignoring AML compliance. This historic penalty proved to the entire industry that the era of the unlicensed, look-the-other-way exchange is definitively over. Compliance is now an existential requirement for them to even exist. Which brings us to Section 3, Inside the Exchange Black Box, What Happens to Your Data? So what actually happens when you hit submit on your ID? It's definitely not just a person looking at a JPEG. There are 5 rigorous steps happening in the background, often taking just a couple of minutes. They use optical character recognition to read your passport, deepfake tech to check your selfie's liveness, and verify your address. But the real magic, or surveillance depending on how you look at it, happens in steps 4 and 5. Often powered by blockchain analytics tools like Chainalysis, the exchange scores your risk based on your location and instantly compares you against global sanctions lists. Now, the kind of chilling reality of all this constant monitoring is the SAR, the Suspicious Activity Report. In this environment, ignorance definitely isn't bliss, It is quite literally a frozen account. If your trading patterns trigger a SAR, maybe you deposited funds that once touched a sanctioned address, your funds can be frozen for up to 180 days. And here's the kicker. The exchange legally cannot tell you why. Telling you would be tipping off, which is a federal crime. So you're just locked out in the dark. Let's pivot to Section 4, DeFi and privacy gray areas, exploring the frontier. So what happens when you step off the centralized exchanges? The decentralized frontier is, well, it's incredibly complex. Just because a protocol's code is open source doesn't mean it's immune to the law. Take privacy coins like Monero. They are perfectly legal to hold, but because they break the travel rule by hiding data, exchanges are literally forced to delist them. Then look at mixers like Tornado Cash. The government actually sanctioned the smart contract code itself, meaning that if you're a U.S. citizen, simply interacting with that code is a federal crime. And the most vital lesson we get from the source material regarding DeFi is that the word decentralized is not some magic legal shield. The recent Oki DAO case proved this definitively in court. The ruling established that if a decentralized organization engages in illegal activity, the individuals holding the voting tokens can actually be held personally liable as partners. Regulators really don't care about your DAO structure. If humans ultimately control it, humans are liable. Finally, Section 5, staying compliant, how to not get frozen. All right, here is your rapid-fire compliance checklist. Your absolute best defense against a frozen account is pristine record keeping. Keep your pay slips, your invoices, and definitely track your taxes, because remember, every single token swap is a taxable event. On the flip side, avoid incredibly suspicious patterns, like smurfing, which, if you don't know, is intentionally making lots of small deposits just under the reporting threshold to try and hide it. Compliance algorithms are literally built to catch exactly that, and it will trigger an immediate freeze. So, how do we build this into a reliable, everyday self-custody strategy? Keep it incredibly simple. 4 steps. Step 1, use one bank account. Step 2, make one direct exchange deposit. Step 3, do your trading. Step 4, withdraw cleanly to your own hardware ledger. This super straightforward flow creates a beautifully clean, easily auditable trail. It keeps you fully compliant with the exchange while still allowing you to take self-custody and hold your own keys. But keep in mind, self-custody now comes with some big caveats, specifically the travel rule. Self-custody itself is perfectly legal, right? But the moment you try to withdraw more than $1,000 from a centralized exchange to your private wallet, the exchange is going to ask you to declare who owns the destination. And you must declare it. It's a simple step, but lying about ownership in that drop-down menu is literally wire fraud. According to the analysis in our source material, we're basically approaching a massive split in the financial world. The endgame looks like 2 completely separate systems operating in parallel. On one side, you have a highly regulated, mainstream system using programmable CBDCs and fully whitelisted KYC wallets. On the completely opposite side, an underground DeFi ecosystem utilizing complex privacy tools, completely severed from traditional banking on-ramps. And that leaves us with a critical realization. Privacy in crypto isn't completely dead, but it is absolutely no longer the default setting. You simply cannot avoid these AML and KYC rules if you want the convenience of accessing the traditional banking system. However, deeply understanding these rules empowers you. It allows you to decide exactly how much of your financial life you are willing to reveal. So which side of this emerging 2-tier system will you choose to participate in? Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Stay informed, stay compliant, and keep learning.